Hello, it is I Smart. A new season of The Mandalorian is upon us, and we've already got 2 episodes, and so far they've been pretty okay. Now, I like The Mandalorian, right? It's a fun series. It's nice because, Andor is very serious and really good, and Mando, it doesn't really compare, but it doesn't really have to, because it's a different kind of Star Wars, right? It's more light-hearted, fun Star Wars, is the way I see it, and I still really like it. It's just, I have some problems I have one really big problem, and I kind of forgot about it after last season. It really became apparent to me last season, but I've kind of forgot about it since. But when this season came around, it reminded me of this really big problem I had with Mando. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'll put it simply. Mando is he's overpowered. And that's just the main thing that kind of gets, every time I see it, I kind of think like, he's kind of overpowered. And it really bugs me. So I'm going to explain what I mean here. So the main character, the Mandalorian, the Mando, the Djarin, whatever you want to call him, our main guy played by Pedro Pascal, right? I have this problem with him. I considered, for the sake of this video, calling him a Gary Stu, because that's what I kind of first noticed, like midway through season 2. I was like, this guy's kind of a Gary Stu. Now, if you're not familiar, Gary Stu or Mary Sue is a word that gets thrown around a ton in fiction of characters. It basically means a character who is perfect in every conceivable way, and it's a complaint about a character. It's a bad thing when a character's like this, because they're not relatable, and no one really likes them. Because this character's perfect. They do everything perfect on the first try. No, everyone in the story likes them and works with them. It's a ridiculous character. Now the thing is, everyone says like, oh, Rey is a Mary Sue, and I get really annoyed because she isn't. Because she isn't a perfect character. She's not perfect in everything. She's really good at a lot of things, and in some ways, she kind of fits some parts of that definition, but she isn't, like, completely a Mary Sue. So that's where that whole thing kind of falls apart. And it gets really annoying, because you see that all over the internet. People say, oh, Rey's so stupid, she's a Mary Sue. It's like, sure, there are problems with the character. She isn't a Mary Sue, though. So it gets overused, so I'm not going to use that term for Mando here. But I see a lot of the problems that people point out with Rey in Mando, and I find it weird people don't point out these problems. Which is the worst. Like, I feel like I looked all over trying to find people to discuss this. Like, is anyone else talking about the fact that Mando is really overpowered and has a lot of the same problems with his character that Rey has with her character? I can't find anyone talking about it, so that's why I'm making this video. So yeah, I don't really think Rey is Mary Sue, but I also don't think Mando's a Gary Stu because of a few things I'll get to at the end here. But he is really overpowered, and it's quite annoying. So basically, the first and most obvious thing that really bugs me is the fact that this guy is decked out in full Beskar armor, which is indestructible. So basically, our main character is going around, he's impenetrable to all blaster bolts, even if a whole entire firing squad of stormtroopers are shooting at him, nothing, they just bounce off the armor. So he's impenetrable to all damage. Anytime he's going up against enemies, we don't even have to worry. He's just like, oh, he's gonna survive it, he's got the Beskar armor. Even if he's going up against a Death Trooper, who is hyped up to be a terrifying, formidable opponent, even if it's got him, like, held against a wall, punching him in the face, there's nothing that can do because his helmet is so strong, a giant robot punching him can't even dent his helmet. It does nothing. It's like, okay, so what now? And then on top of that, they're like, yeah, he has the Darksaber now. Great, so now he has impenetrable armor and an incredibly strong weapon. So there's literally nothing that can stop our guy. And on top of that, both Mando and Grogu are so popular characters, and they're so incredibly marketable too. They make so much money for Disney. We know they're never gonna kill him off, either of them. So neither of our characters are ever in danger in this series. There's not a single time we're ever worried, oh, they might die. Except for one example, which I'll tell you about at the end. But the thing is, pretty much the entire series, never are you worried, oh, I think Mando might die here. Also, there's just so many examples of him doing things where he can just show up and just save the day. The best example is at the start of Season 3, where all these Mandalorians are struggling to fight this big crocodile monster, and it's like, oh crap, are they going to make it? A bunch of them are losing, there's nothing they can do against the big crocodile. Oh, look, it's Mando and his big starfighter. Oh, he swoops in, he saves the day, he blows up the monster, easy peasy, yay. Thanks, Mando, for saving us. There was nothing we could do without you. It's just like, really, that's our main character? He just wins all the time? That's not really that interesting. So, again, it's a thing where it just really bothers me, because it's like, that's not really fun. It's like, okay, cool, Mando swooped in and saved the day, but like, what, is he Superman now? I don't get it. There's this really weird inconsistency with this character, where he somehow knows like absolutely nothing about something, but is insanely skilled at it at the same time, and that really confuses me. Let me give you an example. So, he finds the N1 starfighter, right? Pelimato builds him this starfighter. He's never flown anything like it. He's used to flying a really big ship, but he's never flown a small, more nimble craft, right? And he even says, like, I have no experience with this thing, right? This all happens in the Book of Boba Fett. You might have forgot about this. But anyway, so he can easily, once he gets into this thing, he's like, oh, I have no idea how to fly. Immediately takes off in this thing and just starts flying through the canyon, going, like, crazy, all these swift moves. And he's like, wow, that was cool. Like, you just said you have no idea how to fly this thing, but you just expertly flew this thing through the canyon? What? I don't understand. It's that inconsistency that really bugs me. It's like, okay, does he know how to fly this or does he not? Does he need to learn how to fly this? It's the same thing. People say the same thing about Rey, where it's like, oh, she can just get in the Millennium Falcon and fly that through all these wrecked Star Destroyers so easily, despite she's never flown the ship before? How does that make any sense? See, it's people always complain about this thing with Rey, but I see almost nobody complaining about this thing with Mando. It's like the same thing. Why is no one pointing out the thing with Mando? One of the biggest problems I have is in the first episode of the new season, right? So basically, you remember IG-11 from season 1, right? He had this thermal detonator in his chest. It blew up, he sacrificed himself, and all of his parts were blown into a million pieces and then melted in the lava river below, right? You remember that scene? Amazing sacrifice for a really great character. Anyway, in the opener for season 3, he's just back. Because Mando is like, oh, here's part of him. It's mostly together. Most of his torso and head are all still connected somehow after his literal chest exploded. But no, it's together somehow still. And also, it didn't melt in the river. Anyway, then he says, like, oh, I need this droid back. And the dude is like, oh, we tried everyone in the town. No one has any idea how to get him back online. We all tried. We couldn't figure it out. So we just put him into a statue. Mando's like, okay, I'll figure it out. Dude puts and somehow gets him turned on. Now, obviously, he kind of like attacks, which is a really weird scene, but whatever. So Mando was somehow able to take this droid that exploded into a million pieces, put him back together, and get him into somewhat working order, despite the fact that this guy says he hates droids and has no experience working with droids. Like, we get he can repair some things, but how in heck is he able to repair this droid that no one in town can figure out? He even goes to the droid smiths, and they're like, yeah, there's no way you're getting this droid working. Like, what? I don't understand. It's just, what is the consistency here? Does he know how to work with droids, or does he not know how to work with droids? Make up your mind, guys. It's this inconsistency that bugs me to no end, and it's just, and it's the same thing because no one's pointing this out. It's like, why? Why are we all just accepting this? Because he's Mando? Because he's cool? Because he's Pedro Pascal? Why is no one saying this? I like Mando. I like Pedro Pascal. It's a great character, but it's just these big problems that no one talks about, and that really bothers me. But at the same time, again, he isn't a Gary Stu, because there are plenty of examples of him failing to do something. Many times in Season 1 and Season 2, I'm not going to get him. The main thing is the second episode of Season 3 really showed us a bunch of great examples of Mando needing help and needing to actually, help out of a situation. First of all, he gets captured by this weird droid. I don't really know. The episode was weird. Anyway, so then he has to go have Grogu, go get bo-katan to save him. That's good. That shows that he can't just do everything himself. He needs help. And then later, he sinks to the bottom of a lake because, he was just dumb. He just walked into a lake with his heavy armor, and he needed to get saved. If bo-katan wouldn't have saved him, he would have died. Again, it's like the only time in the entire series that Mando was actually in danger. So, that's good. That's good they're actually maybe starting to turn his character around and actually making it a bit better. But still, it's so strange, the inconsistency we see with his character. So hopefully they're starting to change it, but it really bothered me a lot in Season 2. A lot of examples in Season 2 of him just being overpowered, and he does so many things successfully. But he also just doesn't know anything. He's like, a Jedi? What's that? I've never heard of a Jedi. A Jedi? I have to go find a Jedi? Apparently, I've never heard of them. It's like, you don't know about Jedi? You're in the Star Wars galaxy? You don't know what a Jedi is? But then he's just like, oh yeah, today I'm gonna go clear out this entire Imperial base on Navarro, and I'm gonna, wipe out everyone, and then it's gonna be easy, not even breaking a sweat the entire time. It's like, it's just really weird. It really bugs me. I wish he could be more consistent. I wish I could get to understand this character more, but it's just he's all over the place. So, I think the main thing that bothers me is just he has so many of the same problems that Rey has, but people only complain about Rey because, sequel bad, but apparently Mando was fine. I don't know. It just bugs me, okay? Alright? Why? Why are Star Wars fans like this, huh? So, anyway, that was the video. Kind of was a bit rambly, if I'm really being honest here, but that's just kind of how I am. So let me know what you think. Am I totally wrong about this? I probably am. Or do you notice this too? There's just so many examples of Mando being weird and kind of OP. It's really strange. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about the funny Baby Yoda show. I don't know. It's just Mandalorian. It's a fun series. It's just this one big problem that really bugs me. So, anyway, that's it. That's the video. So, let me know what you think in the comments. Bye.